Hello everyone and welcome to ClickFlare's first webinar. I was waiting for a few more people to join since it is a busy hour for many people in US that are based in US, but even in Europe it's kind of evening time, and maybe someone might be caught into traffic or might be commuting back home from work or from wherever they were earlier. So yeah, like here we are. So today we're going to talk about ClickFlare, and as most of you may already know, ClickFlare is our newest product. As you might know, me from the optimizer.io, we have built quite a few tools which are focused for performance-based marketers, and in the process of launching our products, we wanted to make a pretty straightforward webinar focused on the core benefits and the core functionalities of ClickFlare, why it is different from other trackers, what sets it apart, and why should you even bother changing a tracker, because most of the time, once you're set with a tracker, it's quite a challenge. And we know that, we've been there, we've done that many times. So the value proposition that we have with ClickFlare is quite broad and quite big. So please stay tuned and let's go over some of the main functionalities and features of ClickFlare, as well as to some of those pretty technical details. I won't necessarily go over a behind the shoulders preview of how the platform works today. I have it scheduled for another time, but it is quite important to kind of go over some of the main features and functionalities that will make your campaign management quite an easy game. So before we move forward with any of the features and functionalities of ClickFlare, let's focus a little bit on what is ClickFlare and what is it built for, or who is it built for. So ClickFlare is a cloud-based tracking platform that enables marketers, product owners, as well as agencies to measure their paid and organic traffic results across multiple channels. It is built for affiliates. It is built for performance marketers, whoever doesn't want to be called an affiliate or even runs his own offer. It's built for search arbitragers and currently being used by a lot of them by the first two categories that I mentioned. It's built for e-commerce brands, as well as is built for performance-based agencies. So if you fall under any of these categories, I would recommend to stay tuned and kind of follow through over the details, because we have some pretty neat features and pretty neat announcements in regards to tracking and dealing with all the headaches and all the troubles that everyone's been dealing, especially in the past couple of years with Facebook, with tracking, with GDPR, with whatever has come new into regulations and has made our tracking life a lot harder. So before we move forward with the tracking, with the features and functionalities, I'd like to point out that ClickFlare, unlike other trackers, is while it is a SaaS platform, it is quite widely distributed all across the world. So our servers are available on 7 continents, over 250 cities. It has a real, but when I mean real, it has a super real uptime of 99.99%. And it comes with super fast redirects. So if anyone would like to go and test it, you're more than welcome. We've done some pretty crazy tests for ourselves, like even plugging off some of our servers, and the campaigns were still redirecting, the campaigns were still tracking, and every single click was being tracked and was being recorded accordingly. So worst case scenario that would happen with a SaaS platform like ClickFlare would be if half of the internet goes down, then half of our tracking might go down. But even then, it would be limited to specific regions or to specific countries where the tracking is off, so where the internet is off. So for anyone who's concerned about the uptime, for anyone who's concerned about the speed and tracking, we are making a pretty bold claim, and this time, and like we've shown in the past, like we're keeping up to our word. So without losing much time, let's move forward a bit on the core features and functionalities of ClickFlare. So you may say like, okay, all trackers offer pretty much the standard stuff and pretty much every similar stuff like you're doing, but in Complex we are offering something different. So apart from offering redirect and direct tracking, which applies to two different let's say groupings of tracking, or two different categories of affiliates, and that's mostly implied by rules and by regulations on the traffic sources. We're able to run redirect and direct traffic campaigns, meaning that you can redirect, you can pass through a redirect link before getting to your landing page, or you going directly to the landing page. We are able to track multiple conversions via the custom conversions or custom event tracking. We have already, right from the first launch, integrated cost via API. So unlike any other trackers which are pulling data on just a campaign level and are updating the statistics quite like every few hours, from our long experience with the optimizer, we've cracked down like the balance between pulling data via API and attributing it to the reporting. So ClickFlare offers a pretty up-to-date, pretty frequent cost update. It is integrated with search arbitrage field providers by providing intraday and finalized revenue, without having to go through manual stats updates or manual conversions upload and stuff like that. We have a pretty neat conversion API, unlike any other systems or any other trackers, and this is like one of the core things that ClickFlare, or one of the main things that ClickFlare is different than the other trackers, and gives you much more data and much like a bigger advantage against your competitors. It has a built-in tag management functionalities, and I myself have been working with a lot of other trackers throughout the years. I played around with Google Tag Manager, with any other tracker, but there are still some scenarios and there are still some use cases where, in order to make it really work with Google Tag Manager and a click tracker that is present in the market maybe for a few years or many years already, it is pretty hard. So there is always something left out that you can hardly manage to get through and kind of make the tracking natural. So the tag management of ClickFlare provides quite a pretty advanced implementation of tracking for whoever wants to kind of go over the pretty deep details of tracking. We offer multi-page funnels and branches. So whoever is into complex funnels and wants to kind of track everything from one side to another and kind of go through all the steps and reroute the visitor to specific flows or to specific exits, ClickFlare does a pretty decent job with it, and indeed it does a pretty good one. And last but not least, it offers a pretty detailed tracking and activity logs. Unlike other trackers where you're getting pretty limited logs and reporting, with ClickFlare you can access the raw logs or the detailed logs to your interest, and kind of even go easily through a detailed overview of when the conversion happened, when the visit happened, when the conversion happened, what was the flow of the visitor, etc. So let's move one by one to each of them. So in terms of tracking paid traffic and tracking it with redirect mode, we have 302 redirects, meta refresh or double meta refresh. You can easily A/B test landing pages. You can easily A/B test different paths. So like you can say, okay, I have flow A, landing page A and offer A, and flow B where it has landing page B and flow B. But for some reason you want to organize them into different flows. So in this case, you can easily, thanks to the redirect node between the ad and the landing page, we are able to easily rotate and A/B test or do even a conditional based routing of the visitors to a specific page. Like you may say, okay, I want to have an optimized page for Android and then an optimized page for iOS. So doing separate paths or conditional based paths, we can easily filter or reroute the traffic to the designated page. And even within these flows, or let's say groups of or routing paths that we're setting for visitors, we can test or we can A/B test an unlimited amount of landing pages and offers. So for whatever route you want to go, either one will be super easy to be implemented through ClickFlare. You can do simple funnels, complex funnels, listicles, pre-lenders, lenders, branches, and everything that comes to your mind that you can do with any other tracker, plus do it in a more advanced way and do it even better. Then we have the redirectless tracking or the direct tracking. The difference between redirect and direct tracking is that milliseconds long redirect that happens between the ad itself and the lender. But most traffic sources, like for instance Facebook or even Google, doesn't like the redirects because they kind of consider it as a circumventing system or something that you're using to kind of get away or trick the system into passing the review to a safe page or to a compliant page and all the visitors to an uncompliant page. So in that direction, if you are dealing with such limitations, direct tracking is the one that you want to go. So you can easily put a script, a tracking script from ClickFlare to your landing page, and then from there we're able to rotate any offers or anything behind the landing page and even test multiple destinations after the landing page visit and make it quite an easy job. And you can even do direct offer tracking. So for whatever use case that you are running, you can do both of them. One of the frequent use cases that comes to my mind when it comes to direct offer tracking is for when you as an affiliate don't want to deal with pre-sale setup or hosting of the lender and going through all the technical route of setting up lenders and setting up the offers separately, but you want to rely on your network to optimize your offers. You can easily configure your offer to ClickFlare, ask your rep at the affiliate network to place your pixel or to place your ClickFlare tracking script on the page, and you can even track the landing page clicks whenever they happen on the offer. So if for whatever reason you want to run with offers that come with a pre-built or with a built-in pre-lender, you can easily have the script of ClickFlare put there, and by just doing a pretty small configuration, like if outgoing link is this or that, you can easily track the landing page click-through rate without even hosting the lender on ClickFlare. But let's go over a few details of how a ClickFlare tracking script or tracking pixel works. So generally we put this pixel on the head section of the landing page, and there is where it works best. Once the visitor lands to the page, the script automatically detects the visitor details, defines the outgoing destination URLs, tracks interactions or tracks events on the page, as well as is able to execute third-party pixels. So just like I mentioned earlier, it is somewhat like a hybrid implementation or an aggregated script that combines simple tracking script or whatever the ClickFlare engine needs to track the visitor details or the visit details, along with the tag management functionality where it allows you to implement third-party scripts. And then from ClickFlare, you can easily implement conversion API, or you can easily implement server-to-server postbacks, being them even for the offer itself when the visitor converts, or even if you want to send events just from the page itself. So, like, let's say if you're running a Facebook campaign and you want to kind of go over the route and of reporting the landing page clicks, where you kind of report a view content event, or start initiate checkout or add to cart, or whatever might be the case for you, you can easily track these events from the landing page itself, and then put these events on ClickFlare's reporting automatically, as well as report them to the traffic source via server-to-server postbacks, when you can do server-to-server postbacks, or even do the conversion API. And moving forward, thanks to the way that ClickFlare's pixel is implemented, we're able to run a best practice conversion API implementation, and this is like the good one or the advanced one, where everyone is dealing with a lot of complexities with Facebook, or even with TikTok, or even with Google, like with the new updated compliance, or with the new updated rules with each of these traffic sources. It's quite a nightmare to have their pixels fire correctly, because for one reason or another, we will always get a lower number of conversions reported. So if we're looking at the schema right now, we have a landing page, or a page, or an offer, or a funnel, call it whatever you like, that is running traffic on Facebook, TikTok, and Google. So we run traffic to this page, the users convert at their respective ratio, and by the end of the day, we're getting 5 conversions reported from this offer, or from this funnel. Meanwhile, ClickFlare is tracking 8 conversions. So if we're doing pixel-based or web-based pixel reporting of the conversions, we're not able to get all the conversions fed to the traffic source, and therefore we're not able to leverage their algorithm to optimize our campaigns. But in reality, we're having 8 conversions. So if ClickFlare is tracking 8 conversions, we're able to post these 8 conversions via conversion API. But more than that, we're able to implement a hybrid implementation of the pixel, where according to the documentation of all traffic sources or all major social ad networks, you will need to implement the pixels in a hybrid implementation, where you have the web-based as the main pixel for your campaigns, and the tracker or server-side or conversion API as the second or fallback reporting platform that reports the conversions. So in this scenario, what can easily happen is that we can have in parallel the web-based pixel, and we can have the conversion API, just like any other tracker is doing. And whenever we're reporting these conversions, we have 5 on the tracker, 5 on the offer, like web-based pixel, 8 on the tracker. We're ending up with like 13 or 12 or whatever number of conversions that Facebook, just as an example, might be reporting, or TikTok or Google Ads might be reporting. So in this scenario, we're feeding more conversions that we're having. So we don't want to feed less, we don't want to feed more. Obviously, aiming for 100% match rate is a dream. And as a matter of fact, we've been following this through with Facebook specifically in very, very, very deep details, and sometimes due to GDPR or due to privacy concerning issues, even though Facebook tracks the conversions or accepts the conversions, they will not be able to report them in Ads Manager. But anyways, moving forward with the best practice implementation of the pixel, we need to have a unique event ID which is available on the pixel and on the conversion API or on the server. So by feeding this event ID dynamically on each event via the web side pixel and the server side conversion API, we're able to deduplicate these events, and by the end of the day, we won't report 13 conversions, or we won't report 10 conversions, we will report 8 conversions just as normal as they occurred. There might be some implementations where you are limited to a conversion API only implementation, and that often happens with affiliates. And for that, we're able to do easily we're able to easily do server-side only conversion API reporting for Facebook, TikTok, or Google, and that alone might not be enough for all ad networks, but that alone is able to go up to a 70% or 80% match rate, which is quite a decent percentage, as opposed to other trackers. Something else that we can do is that on the payload or on the amount of data or details that we're sending to the traffic source, we don't only include the event itself, or like the conversion or the click ID or whatever the traffic source itself has as an identifier of the user, but we're able to feed the city, the country, we're able to feed the operating system, the device type. So all this kind of information which are necessary for Facebook or for TikTok or for Google to kind of match the user that converted. So whenever they are matching or aggregating or elaborating the data in their backend, they are looking at all these details, and the more data we send to the traffic source, the better it is for the match rate as well as for the optimization needs of this campaign. So in that direction, we have the ability to send a pretty complete payload, and if you need to, like if you're an e-commerce store, you can even send the product name, or you can even send the product category. So there are some pretty advanced configurations that can be easily implemented with ClickFlare that no other tracker does, and doing that or implementing them using Google Tag Manager and a click tracker is honestly a pretty painful process, and you're always leaving something out. So this is one of the main functionalities and like a pretty big added value to our product, and I would highly recommend you to test it out, because we've seen it and we've tested it, and so far the results are amazing. So they are wow effect results. So moving forward, so how does it help you, or how does it help you if you are an affiliate? So if you're an affiliate, you would like to have a robust redirect or direct tracking. So you want a tracker that never goes down. You are very worried about the consistency, or if you're buying or you're scaling, you don't want to deal with any bottlenecks or processing limitations that might come, for let's say, from a self-hosted tracker. So ClickFlare doesn't have any of these issues. You want to test and track multiple landing pages or multiple funnels at the same time, and that's not a problem as well. You want to track custom events, and we can track custom events without a problem. You want to track the cost via API, because, come on, let's be real. We need to have the cost and revenue in the same place, and when we're looking at the tracker, it's of a big help when we kind of go over deep drill downs and going over pretty neat details of the conversions or the visitors to kind of understand what's our cost there. So thanks to the conversion to the cost updating via API with ClickFlare, it's a pretty easy game. Okay, something happened to the streaming, and I don't know why. Just give me a second to check. All right, we should be good to go. So all these kind of details that happen with that every affiliate needs are already supported by ClickFlare. One other thing which is pretty useful for affiliates is having the ability to track or post conversions based off the real offer URL. So we all know that when working with affiliate offers, we are forced to go through a redirecting after our landing page, or the offer or the page where the user converts might be a different domain than the one that we're rerouting the visitor, because maybe the advertiser wants to use two domains, or they have their own pre-sale that kind of warms up the visitor a bit more. So thanks to the configurations of ClickFlare, we are able to define the source URL of the event that we want to send to Facebook, to Google, or to TikTok. So we can easily say, okay, even though the redirect flow of the visitor passes through, I don't know, abc123.com, and the visitor converts at clickflare.io, I'm still reporting clickflare.io as the source, as the event source back to Facebook, and I'm able to feed the data to Facebook because in most cases the advertiser itself might have a pixel placed on their page, and since we are talking about the same traffic source, the traffic source should be able to kind of match and aggregate the data even from a third-party pixel or another pixel. If you are a search arbitrager, then as you might know from the optimizer, we have a pretty deep integration with all main feed providers. We offer the ability to track multiple events like the search click, the click, etc. We're able to update the data automatically using in terms of revenue of both intraday and confirmed revenue from the previous day, which takes roughly 24 up to even 48 hours. And specifically to the combination of ClickFlare and the optimizer, we're able to pull and update the data not only for today, but even for yesterday or the day before, every 1 hour. So for anyone who's into search arb by putting together the optimizer and ClickFlare, you're able to get the most frequent data update that you can. So aside from that, you're able to post conversions via API to Facebook, Google, and TikTok. So Google might not be a big one for most of the people, but it is quite an interesting traffic source. With Facebook and TikTok, you're able to pass back conversions of both events, like the first click and the second click for when we're talking about Google-related feeds. You're able to track the performance of keywords, so you can easily post back via using conversion parameters the keywords that were clicked on the park domain or on the promoted link. And last but not least, and I had this tested pretty well, like in the last couple of months with a friend of mine, and we were able to track and keep track of search traffic from a content site. So if you want to even rotate multiple feed providers or multiple offers of even the same feed provider after a content site that might be built on WordPress, with ClickFlare you're able to track to do that quite easily. You're able to feed conversions back to the traffic source. You're able to track the landing page or to track the click-through rate from the content article to the feed provider, then track the conversion rate on the feed provider itself. So all this good stuff is easy doable with ClickFlare, and like no other trackers, you can easily implement that without much of a headache. And the interesting thing about it is that you can even do organic traffic tracked separately and paid traffic or specific campaign tracked separately. Because of the way that the ClickFlare pixel works, it allows you to kind of go and do something like, okay, I have this page, and whoever goes to the organic traffic, it will fall to this default campaign URL or campaign ID. And if I'm doing it from a specific traffic source or from a specific campaign, I can easily say, hey, let's put a parameter on my a tracking parameter on my URL. It's just a query string, value parameter value, and based on that, the tracking system or the tracking script will be able to automatically switch to the other campaign and report to the other campaign. So you can easily have organic versus paid traffic tracked automatically, and even do totally different flows. Like if you're doing, let's say, Facebook and Google through a content article, you may want to have Google going to one provider and Facebook to another provider, or you may want to do I don't know, if it is Instagram, you want to send them to X feed or X offer or X campaign or park domain, and if it's Facebook, you can send them to another one. So all this good stuff can be easily managed and can be easily implemented. So it takes literally less than 30 minutes to do this kind of stuff. So it is easy to be implemented, and it is time to take advantage of it before anyone else kind of dives deep into it and takes advantage of it. If you're an e-commerce brand, things kind of differ a little bit from affiliates and search arbitrages, but they're not that different. So if you're advertising on native ad networks and other sources that are okay with redirects, you can easily do redirects. But if you're tracking with main ad networks like Facebook, Google, and even TikTok, it's not that they don't 100% allow the redirect, but if you don't have a settled reputation with them yet, you may want to have if you don't have a settled, something happened with the stream again, so let me resume. So if you don't have a settled reputation with them yet, it's a matter of just going through direct links and easily manage the relation with them. Also, something else that you can do is that you can track product-specific conversions or product-specific events and report them back to ClickFlare. And then using custom conversions or using conversion parameters, you can easily track all these events that happen on your product site. And even though you might be running on Shopify, or you might be running on PrestaShop, or you might be running on WooCommerce, or whoever the e-commerce platform that you're running is, you're able to kind of go and set just the tracking script of ClickFlare there and be able to implement all the tracking like you would do with Google Tag Manager to say, but you're able to track more than that. So you're able to track even those kind of stuff that are pretty complex to be set up with Google Tag Manager or any other tracker for that matter. If you're a performance-based agency, odds are that your clients will usually come with their funnels built, or you're building their funnels, but they are concerned about organic traffic and paid traffic. You can easily manage their campaigns by just keeping their links as they are and just have the traffic source, the ClickFlare script present on their pages. Or you can set up the whole funnels with ClickFlare, and they're able to track everything organically or paid traffic easily without even worrying about what's going to happen. And the transitions between one page and another can easily be direct and can easily be managed from ClickFlare without having to revolutionize their funnels, or without having to kind of go through complex reorganizations of the setup. At the same time, you're able to leverage the conversion API, which we've seen and we've noticed most of the time that many people are doing stuff like are having a hard time with managing the conversion API through any system that they might be working with. So in that direction, you can easily say that, hey, we have a conversion API, we are able to send you accurate data, we're able to bring you more quality traffic, we're able to have your traffic source accounts pixels kick in, and there you go. Like, you have more clients, you're able to scale them far easier, and you're able to report them all that important data and even build a pretty detailed profile of their ideal buyer or their ideal client, so that they can develop on that with the copywriting, with creatives and everything. If it's you doing that, then it's far an easier job for you to do that using all the data. All right, so let's go a little bit over the questions and answers session. I think I have already a few questions. So we have Noel that says, for search ARB, does ClickFlare support server-to-server postback conversions with a value assigned to a native networks? If yes, how many times a day does ClickFlare send these conversions to the traffic source? With search ARB, if we're talking about sending the RPC to the network, with native doesn't care that much about the actual RPC. So don't. In my recommendation would be don't waste time on trying to send them the perfect click. So there are two sides of this. The first side is that no feed provider is able to give you the accurate RPC at the very moment that the click happens. So it has to be something close to it, but it generally differs by 20, 30, even 40%, and that's kind of affected by the region itself. If we're talking about sending the event, you can send it real time or in near real time, because most networks process, or most feed providers process the conversion events in batches of like every 30 minutes, every 1 hour, etc. And there are some of them who process the events in real time. And for when it comes to the revenue, you can always get that, or my recommendation, whatever you have in terms of estimated RPC, you put it as a conversion parameter, and you don't record it in the tracker at all in order to make reporting super easy for you. You send the value to the traffic source, whatever the value is, and you keep the accurate numbers in your ClickFlare or the optimizer dashboard reported normally. We have another one. Looks great so far. Can you guys do a video on how to use ClickFlare to do AdSense arbitrage on a content site, not domain parking? AdSense arbitrage is kind of a different beast. There is something coming in the updates that might be able to kind of support that, but it's not ready yet. So if you're able to post events or sort of like a server-to-server events in a near real time, or you know where to capture the value from the user session, then we're able to do that. But at the moment, doing AdSense reporting is kind of a limited functionality for ClickFlare. I'm not saying that it cannot be done. It has to be looked at the configuration specifically. But yeah, like it's a bit of a more complex setup, and that's on AdSense side, not on our side, unfortunately. Other question: is ClickFlare free now or paid? Okay, so ClickFlare for now is free, and you're able to use it for like 3 months, if I'm not wrong. And for this webinar, like a minimum of 3 months, but it can be even longer. For this webinar, we have already organized internally, and whoever are the registered attendees of this webinar will be able to easily go on an onboarding one-on-one call with one of our colleagues and take care and make sure that their setup is smooth and everything is set up correctly, so that they can easily transition from another tracker or easily have their campaigns up and running in terms of tracking, whatever the use case might be. For those that already know us, we've been in the game for like over 10 years and even more. We have played around with many tracking systems, so anything tracking related, you're definitely in good hands. Even if someone says that it cannot be done, and in reality it can be done, we'd be able to kind of sneak in and find our ways through. But obviously there is no 100% certainty on that, and that sometimes with third parties involved in the process, third parties might be the bottleneck and don't want to collaborate on having the implementation done. But yeah, like it's doable. How accurate is the conversion API? As I mentioned earlier, we have tested it with both hybrid implementation and conversion API only implementation. On the hybrid implementation, we've seen a match rate of like 100%, like 99%. But with conversion API, due to some of the limitations that the traffic sources themselves pose on the events that are being reported, or even the duplication of the traffic source, there it's a bit different. Here's how it works. We have the event itself, and the event might be only one, and for when the event is unique, the traffic source keeps the uniqueness of it, even though the pixel, let's say for Facebook, tracks 200 events reported by a specific conversion. If all the data is the same and all the IDs are the same, Facebook will report it back to Ads Manager only once, because there is a deduplication between the events manager or the pixel and the Ads Manager. If you're sending this event via conversion API, but you're including an event ID to it, then it will be recorded 200 times, and it will be reported even 200 times. So for as long as the event ID is a unique different one, on those 200 posting of conversions via conversion API, they will be considered as new conversions. So in the logic of how I explained a little bit earlier, with having the best practice implementation via a hybrid implementation of the pixel, web-based and conversion API, the event ID is the one who's able to deduplicate the events for Facebook. And in terms of accuracy, the range of 70% with conversion API only is quite a good point, because it could easily happen that you're having double conversions or more than one events reported back to Facebook or from the offer itself. And if everything is the same, it's not on ClickFlare, you will need to, and you're seeing that you're getting more reported by the traffic source. The easiest and simplest thing that you can do is ask the traffic source to pass you back a transaction ID, and you can post this transaction ID back to ClickFlare, to the Facebook or to the traffic source, and boom, your issue is solved. Next, we have how do we book an onboarding call? The onboarding calls are booked, are easily bookable through our website. So if you visit clickflare.io, you can easily send us a message through the website chat, or drop us a line at support@clickflare.io, and one of our colleagues will be able to reply back to you with a link to the onboarding call, and we'll be able to go through onboarding call one-on-one with you in order to make sure that everything is sorted out right from the first steps of you using ClickFlare. Next, we have. So we're about. Oh yeah, we have exceeded the scheduled time for this webinar today. Anyways, if you have any other questions, or if you have anything else that you would like to ask us about ClickFlare, or you have a specific use case of tracking and you want to make sure that ClickFlare is able to help with that, make sure to drop us a line at support@clickflare.io, or even support@theoptimizer.io if you're an optimizer user. And from there, we'd be able to take care of your case and look at it in more detail, and make sure that we're able to address it in a time-efficient way. And before we wrap it up, as a next step, I would highly recommend to visit clickflare.io, create your free account, connect your tracking domain so that you have your unique tracking domain to it, set up your first networks and lenders, create your first campaign, and boom, you're done. Like everything else that you had, or everything else that you will need, you simply contact us to support@clickflare.io, or through our chat communication on the webpage, and we'll be able to help you with any questions that you might have, or even looking to the setup that you have in order to make sure that everything looks good. Thank you for your attention, and looking forward to see you on board. Have a good time. Bye.